Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and we have some very frustrating news breaking this morning. This actually broke last night, but I expect a lot of us will be talking about it today. In fact, we will later on our live stream this afternoon. But we just got dispatch audio confirming that these officers absolutely had more information than they've been leading on. Information that it could have saved Gabby's life. Let's be honest. District Attorney for Utah, former District Attorney Brett Tolman has now been quoted. I think they will find that they manipulated the situation to not take someone into custody. I think the fact that they had this eyewitness that is not involved in it and is objective, who said what we're about to hear, you're going to have a majority of officers who would have taken him into custody. Facts. This is the problem here. They didn't take them into custody. They were going to take her into custody. They put Brian in a hotel room to get a shower. Guys, I want to play this audio because this audio is very important. I hope you'll get there. Apologies for some of the edits. I'll explain that in a little bit, but let's watch this dispatch. Let's hear this dispatch audio.
CTA, do you have a phone number for the RP? Maybe you're still landline and a location of our
that? Phone number is name's I'm not sure that, but the female who got hit, they both, the male and the female, both got into the van and headed north. Continuing attempt to locate, time lapse of about probably 40 seconds. RP states seen a male, a female. He got into a white Ford Transit van, has a black ladder on the back, Florida plate of. The van turned right onto Main Street from Moonflower Market and headed north onto Main Street, 1638.
Now, this timestamp is important because all the outlets that have this audio have reported this came in at 1642. It's 4:42 for us here in the States. That time is important because if you look at the next thing I have here, the body cam footage starts at 1644. So this was 2 minutes before officers arrived. 2 minutes before officers arrived, the dispatch told them this from a witness. How on earth did this go down the way it did? How on earth did this happen? When you watch this audio, or this video now, knowing this information...
Driver is showing some obscure driving, possibly intoxicated.
What's so frustrating is not a lot of people share this portion where the officer's reacting. So not only do you have this intel now, which I don't know if it was this officer or the other officer who got it, but again, hopefully you would think these officers would... It's a small town, right? They'd be sharing this information. This is all the officers on deck are showing up. Park ranger, everybody shows up. You'd think they'd all be in the same, getting this information. There's like a good minute or 2 minutes before we even hear him, where they're sharing this information. And suddenly, this officer, who we hear the bulk of in the body cam, is acknowledging his erratic driving. And then what? Just not only
currently doing 45 miles an hour.
Driving erratically. Go.
Zone through here is 25. Oh, subject just hit the curb.
Lights go on.
Correction, speed limit is 15.
Now, I'm sharing this again because this is why we have footage. It's so great to go through. When Brian shares his information, why were you speeding? Why'd you hit the curb? Well, I heard the lights, etc. He flipped the lights on then. Did you hear that? He just hit the curb. Lights went on. So you already have caught this guy in a lie. He's driving erratically and he's speeding. And witnesses have told you this. I mean, I'm sorry. Already, I'm putting this guy under much harsher questions. Much harsher questions. I am not giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry. I'm not. I got a witness telling me one thing. That's very important information that he's told me, right? And then I got his speeding, his erratic driving, all of his excuses he gives this officer later, which we'll break down. Again, I apologize. I wish I could speak more candidly, but I will when we go live. So I'm going to put it at the end of this. We're going to watch this, and we'll unedited, unfiltered. We'll talk it all live. Join me this afternoon as we break this down because I think this is really important to digest, and I want you guys to be able to comment and add more to this because these officers need to be investigated. What they did wasn't right. Now, I know it's, in hindsight, Andy, woulda, shoulda, coulda. No. No one knew this case would get so big, but that shouldn't be why it matters. Now that we can really go through this is what body cam footage is for. Now that we can go through it, I'm sorry, officers. I'm very angry with you. Now, I don't know if they should be fired. I'm not trying that. I don't believe in that sort of activity, but they need to be reprimanded in some way, and we need to have better, the Utah police need to go through some better training to ensure this never happens again. That's really what needs to happen here. Because that woman in that car was bawling and clearly covering up and hiding something. It's very clear when you watch that footage. And as you watch this now knowing all the information that we just got from this dispatch call, here, this is scary. This is scary stuff. Why didn't they do more? Why was he so just, oh, well, yeah, she's crying like my wife, so therefore my wife has anxiety issues. I get this situation. Nothing is going wrong here. Now, what's also really frustrating is the police have not confirmed if there are two witnesses or not. It would be very easy to clear this up, but the reason that they're not, to me, makes it even more of a point of why I want this story out there. We need to figure this one out, because this is imperative, obviously not in finding Brian per se, but imperative in accountability, which is very important. We need to make sure, how did you let this go by? How do we make sure this doesn't happen again is really what this is about, right? And so I got to give out props. Brian Ettinger, who does a lot of coverage. If you guys aren't watching him, you should. But he broke this down, the witness statement, right? There's a witness statement. And then for anyone who missed the call, here is the full line. It says the same witness, Chris. Now, he got this wrong. He got this wrong, Brian. I wish you would adjust these. You should remove these because it's confusing matters, Brian. No disrespect, but because even you admitted later, everyone asking, I got clarification. Chris on the 911 call, spoke to Moab police. It's a bit complicated. They explained that Grand County Dispatch took the 911 call and Moab police took the witness statement. Two different entities. Police could not tell me whether it was the same person or not. They say the only way to figure it out would be to compare the records. The problem is the record from both entities are redacted. And in the 911 call, they silenced the last name. And in the police report, they redacted the last name. So at this point, I don't think there is a way to know for sure. Unacceptable, police. You guys have the unredacted information, I would imagine. Do they not? Can someone in the police inform me of how do we confirm if these are the same witnesses? It's very confusing because we have the 911 caller and then we have the witness, and they're completely different stories. And it sounds like there are two witnesses, a witness and who was there in person who filled out the report, and someone who called. Now, if this is the same person, we need to talk to this person again. What did they see? Because I know we're all on the quest for Brian, as we should be. And we'll have more information to talk about that later as we continue to get it. But again, accountability is important. And these officers, I think, they dropped the ball big time. And now Gabby's not with us. So we shouldn't be putting pitchforks at that. We need more information is what's frustrating. And I'm angry at the whole Moab Police Department for yes, they're putting these calls out, but we need some transparency immediately. What do you do? What is this? There's an investigation going on. I hope it's done properly, but why aren't you just being very clear? No, those were two different people. You have the guy's phone number. Call it again. Confirm it. Were these two different places or not? Now, I guess there's a little bit of confusion because they're different police departments. You know, is it the same person? They know, two different people spoke to someone. But I imagine with the unredacted information or phone numbers, you can confirm what happened. At this point, it'd be very important to know what happened. How did this mess up? How do you have now the 911 call and now this dispatch audio tell us something that really does change the fate of the case potentially and a woman's life? You need to clarify, guys, because otherwise we're going to spiral out of control. We need to know what happened. If there really was a mistake and this witness did change the testimony, then let's get that very confidently and clearly. So we know that the officers were told that. And if not, we need to understand, well, why did they ignore this information? Because if they ignored this information and went in and projected their own wife's anxiety issues to do this, well, then some serious stuff needs to happen to reprimand these officers, because that's disgusting. So, guys, we will be live later to break down more of what's going on in the case. Take your calls, comments, questions. We got a lot of emails. You guys can email me at popcornplanetteam@gmail.com if you guys have tips. Popcorn to Planet Team. That's popcorn to Planet Team footGabby@gmail.com. If you have information on this case or anything you want us to break down, or just comments, questions, photos on, I know all of it, we're still digesting and getting all this information. Thanks to everybody who shared it. If you'd like to keep in the loop, please hit the subscribe button and the bell for all alerts, because not everything gets out there and we want to get the word. The goal of this channel here is to help break down what's the real stuff that's happening there. Yes, we're going to speculate from time to time, but we'll be very clear when we are. And I want to make sure we can debunk certain things so we don't keep wasting time on, wait, the backpack matches the deer cam footage. Guys, the deer cam footage was debunked. It's not the guy. There's a lot of that going on out there. Let's try to hone our notes together. That's what we try to do here, bring you the facts and figure out what do we focus on next. And right now, we need to make sure these officers take accountability and we understand what's going on. Why don't we know if it was 2 witnesses or not by now? Please let us know, Mohawk Police. This dispatch audio is troubling. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be live when I am. I will put the link right there. Come join me. Let's talk about this. Thanks for watching, everybody.